It's a game so good, I want to play it more than once. Or there's a way to go back to Stanley Parable 1. Nope. Alright. I'm gonna sit here, do nothing, and just get back to recording whenever something happens. Okay, I've probably been sitting here for 20-30 minutes, and I don't think anything really changed. What the?
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figures. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
I usually look
Yes, I
off.
know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Hopefully we don't have to redo the skip button, because I do not want to do that. Oh. Oh, I'm glad we get to come back here. Oh, these wonderful memories. Should I have... No, wait, I didn't get the choice of grabbing the bucket. This wasn't here last time.
Here's where it all began. The
Wonder...
first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Oh. 7 out of 6. Are we literally going to all the places we found them?
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
I am very good at doing it.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
It would have been this one. It's where I found the rest of them.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Yeah, and then we went...
See, what came next? Oh yes, we found a figure in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No, this ain't where we found it. We found the others all in the warehouse. Through its secrets. Yeah, one was here.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
Wait, did you? Is it? Oh, okay, it's not actual. It's so low quality, I love it. Just... Yeah, and then we found the last one underneath the stairs. Yeah, we found the one in the, crate, near the crates. Near the lift. Screw it, narrator baby, one of my favorite characters. Claptrap, you get out of the way. Rico Rodriguez, you go in the corner.
Takes you back,
Zaku.
doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Should I? Oh, so they go back to the illusion of choice. Snipe matches all over again. And then there should be one more at the bottom of the stairs.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here, under the stairs. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
They kind of spooked me for a second. Oh?
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Oh. I thought we were gonna redo the memories of it.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Is there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, that spot under the stairs. I remember this. I must
Oh
say,
no, something bad's gonna happen.
we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
He may be a little bit addicted. Just a little bit.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yes, we watched it.
Yes, I love that video. Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
An absolute
These
fever.
really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
What happens when we go to the warehouse? Okay, it was blank. I was just curious. Okay, then we go to the bathroom, and then we go to the void one.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in
This
the
one's still
exhibit
very
where I
creepy,
introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh, we're back here. Oh. It's not quite what it was like before. Oh, do we have our jumps back?
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Oh yes, they're both in the same spot.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Oh no, what void are we going to?
I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then, somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Is anything gonna play differently now?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it so
it seems to be the same.
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had a good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I wonder
Still
if...
no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find out. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Is there more? No.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
I am the
It was
bucket.
incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony. and blacked out.
Oh.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Well, the madness bucket, the insanity bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to
Oh yeah, I
his
never
chest
checked the video to
and
see
entered the door on his left.
if I did go through that one area with the bucket or not.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd come into a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I've never been over here. Is this something I didn't even know? Oh. Is this another secret I didn't even know about? I missed such an easy secret. Wait, if we're at the top of the building, where are we going? Well, we could go to the roof, but... I didn't think... I'm just finding out more stuff. Something I didn't think I could interact with. I can interact with now. Are we going to space? Where are we on? The narrator isn't talking to me. The bucket is not helping. Is he got a very shaky board? Okay, let's say sensation feel remote vagrant for a good long while. Back here. So what if I go down? Okay, why don't I just press down and don't touch anything? Just sit here and just feel the vibrating remote because it will not stop vibrating for some weird reason. Is narrator singing with it? The more you know. Okay, I don't want to be sitting here. So, secret that I can't do anything with. Two, 8, 4, 5.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most
So should I do the
explanation.
crush ending, or should I just do the mind control ending? We'll do mind control. Okay, so after mind control, we can do escape with the bucket.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown
And then I
fate.
just think...
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest
then
moment
really
of
just figuring out what
uncertainty, he
going
will
in,
be
which I'll
all
probably
right.
stop recording for
The
a little
bucket
bit and
is
go
here
check
for
the
you,
footage.
Stanley. Everything will be fine.
You can't really do Ben, well, 3 technically.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control
Anything else I'm
Facility.
missing? We went there, we did that.
The lights rose on an
Feels like there's
enormous
stuff
room
I'm
packed with
missing.
television screens. What horrible
Maybe again,
secret
I
did
need to
this
look
place
up some...
hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Oh!
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below.
I can do
He
that!
fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here.
I didn't even know I could do that. I'm gonna
After some
have...
time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a
How?
sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
So,
But it
what
wasn't
happens if I
until
do this
the rugs
without
and
the
standing
bucket?
lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning.
Oh
It
no.
unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says.
thought I would've
I need to
died.
see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True.
it wasn't.
I haven't found the
But it's
infinite
where we
bucket. I
happen
haven't
to
found
be.
the infinite
And maybe,
bucket.
possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become
I
an
still haven't
ending
figured out where the
eventually.
one on the machine is.
It's what the bucket was counting on.
Wait,
The
what?
two of them waited for a very long time.
I kind of want to go do that without the bucket now.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Let's just
What
get
could
the
it mean?
bucket.
Stanley decided to go
We'll
to the
focus
meeting
on the
room.
two
The bucket made
endings.
Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Hey, this
Still,
almost
no one
spooked
was
me.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his
I
boss's
haven't sat there.
office
I
was
haven't
where
sat
he came
there
into a
without the
staircase.
bucket.
Stanley and the bucket
I
walked
sat there for a short
upstairs to the
period, but not a
boss's
long period.
office.
Just more bloody secrets to find.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
So we can fall into the void. I still feel like I'm missing stuff. I am surely missing all kinds of things.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I don't think there's any way of truly stopping the self-destruct. I wonder if we still get an insane...
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with
Like,
television
I tried
screens.
falling off right
What
here, and it wouldn't
horrible
let me.
secret
But
did
if
this
I
place
climb up the chair...
hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
It's... Next time I'll fully activate the
The
lights.
monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
The bucket just keeps getting more and more alive.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish
Throw
to
the bucket.
do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in
Deactivate the machine.
entire world.
And probably
At this
self-destruct.
point, he
And
could
get an
trust
angry
no one
narrator. Or
except
even say
the bucket.
narrator.
But
Yeah, I
here
need to
was
see
the
if this
proof.
game's
The
platinumable
heart
twice.
of the
And I need to
operation.
figure out what
Controls labeled
fully
with
does the platinum.
emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Nothing down
And
here.
as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
Sorry.
Two best friends stand. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Huh?
Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
And it's time to get started back to the beginning.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Okay,
Stanley decided
one more
to go to the
bucket
meeting
end.
room. Perhaps
Then we
he
gotta go
accepted
there,
everyone
and then
is
I
so
need to figure
lucky
out what
have
we
a
did for
bucket.
there.
But Stanley is a very lucky
Well,
fellow.
escape
Very
route,
lucky
figure out what that 1-2 goes to,
Stanley clutched the
or
bucket
figure
tightly
out
to his
what I
chest
did
and
last time.
entered the door on his left.
So I did so much, I'm still missing
Still
a
no
bunch
one
of
was here.
achievements.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps
Yeah, I
his
also
boss's
should probably
office
sit in the
was where he was
closet for,
coming to a
like,
staircase.
hours.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
That doesn't go anywhere. Narrator just
Stepping
sings for
into
us.
his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Wait, one of the achievements is beat the game in like 4 minutes. I'm gonna have to look at guides. Okay, let's do the
Stanley
escape
and the bucket
route.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Let's see if
The
this
door
changed at
behind
all.
them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
If I didn't have the
At
bucket,
this
maybe.
point,
I saw a
Stanley
void
and
to
the
jump
bucket
into.
were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Get something to stare down when I jump in. I see you, Void. I stare back. Get moving. The
As the
machine of our
machine whirred into
doom.
motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Same thing gonna happen? Yep.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to
Is there
death.
gonna be a bucket museum now? Is it like Bucket Parable?
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest.
It
It was a
is.
glorious bucket to behold.
No, what do you have to tell me about the bucket? I continue to live in it. Is there a
Can you
bucket?
see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
There's something up there. Can't read it. Yes, buckets with two handles. It's too dangerous. You gotta control the bucket. Oh. The bucket. So, I don't get this reality. I was not expecting it to be this bucketed. There's these chairs everywhere. Okay, we got there. We can't go over there. We can go
No
over...
man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The bucket. Is she gonna cry for me to save the bucket?
There is something we can do. Something
Nope.
we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
I'm not turning off my console.
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
The bucket and Stanley both died. A horrible, horrible death. Because the woman was insane. Okay. I am concerned. I ain't touching the bucket. Nope, bucket dude left behind.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I ain't touching the bucket. I ain't touching it.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
How are we doing in time? Okay, we should have enough time.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments
called ADHD,
with some
you can't
calming
stop
new
it.
age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
It's time. Time to fall into the void. Let's go. It's time to jump into the void.
Stanley
And see what
walked
happens.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Should I turn on the lights? Yeah, we'll turn on the lights and cameras.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
For a second, I thought I got a lag spike, but no, I got
the
stuck.
strength to find out.
No, we won't. We die. This is the end.
Now the monitors jump to life, their true nature revealed.
Let's see, do I die?
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came
This is a
time to
gorgeous
update the game,
screenshot.
we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it
New
seem like
content
we
is nice.
really covered every nook and cranny of the game with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear
that
it
guy made it
anywhere
just
else
easy.
in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job.
Certainly interesting.
3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier. Chase your dreams. Railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
You can reset me now. Alright, time to go check something. I know
can't wait
what
to
must
tell
be
this
done.
story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh? It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Seems like there's so much more to explore, but don't really get that choice.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Okay.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley
Time for the
took door on
last
his left
thing
to
I
go
can
back to
think
the
of
meeting
to
room.
do.
No,
Said the
Failure
bucket.
with the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to
No.
the cargo lift.
I don't listen. Okay, we're back here. I got a bucket this time. Oh. No narrow voice this time.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest, when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
Oh no.
Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Wow. Wow. That happened? Got one more idea
All of
before I
his
have to start
co-workers were
Googling
gone.
some
What
stuff.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go
Oh yeah,
to
I
the
need to
meeting
check
room.
that.
Perhaps he
Is
had
that
simply
still-
missed a memo.
Well,
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I want to pick up the
Stanley
bucket.
cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate,
I-
assertive yet compassionate.
It's all loud, Stanley.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times? Is that all you think a trophy is worth?
Does it
No,
change
no,
at
no,
all?
no, no, I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks? Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this
Where's the next
trophy to
level?
have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way no matter the cost. Why don't you put 20 bucket touches into door 417?
Bucket touches. Okay, it changed a little bit, so I'll
Okay,
just...
great. Now, go touch the bucket on door 437 a few times. Yes, now we're getting somewhere. How about door 415? Give it some bucket love.
Okay, that's a little weird.
Now back to door number 437.
I'm so glad I'm recording this game because honestly,
You
I would
know,
hate...
I think the copy machine needs some attention. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Honestly, I kind of wish this opened back up. That was pretty cool. That was 417.
Okay, now bring the bucket on top of employee 419's desk. Yes, this is great. Now the bucket knows exactly what it's like to be employee 419. Now, let's introduce it to door 416.
416 was this way.
We've almost got it. Now make the bucket and the copy machine touch again.
A bit weirder.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 touches of the bucket on door 4-3. Yes! We did it! Wow! That felt amazing. You know, not all the buckets will get this kind of experience.
No additional. Okay, I'm just gonna stop recording for a short second and go check out achievements. Well, one setting was set to all the available numbers, so I'm gonna try jumping them all to max. Oh! Oh! Oh, I do not like that. Oh, that does not look good to me. Okay, let's drop it all down. Oh, I'm gonna hate this, ain't I? Oh, drop the cameras. I need to look up a proper guide for all these. I mean, it wouldn't be a half bad idea. Honestly, I kind of wish I could get rid of the balloons. I really feel like I'm still missing a bunch in this game. Like, I've gone through and I've done a lot, I've seen a lot, but something feels off. Oh, that's a... Yeah, that's... Oh, that's real bad. Okay, I'm gonna reset everything. And I'm probably gonna look up some guides. Yes. Oh, that looks so much better. Is audio still? Yeah, audio's fixed. You know, I can kind of interact with this, but not really. Okay, I think I'm just gonna maybe look up how to at least start some things up, because honestly, I'm lost. Okay, so that's it for now. Maybe I'll record more. Just mash them together. Bye.